I'm Dwight Drummond. Tonight, are you looking for a COVID-19 test? One Toronto hospital network says do not head to their ERs to get one.
Please, unless you have severe symptoms, please try to avoid the emergency departments.
Nearly 10,000 new COVID-19 cases reported in Ontario, adding urgency to the push to get shots into arms right through the holidays. Plus,
you're trying to recoup from lost revenue from the summertime.
People just stopped coming in altogether. Reservations and parties got canceled.
The specter of Omicron hangs over small businesses at a crucial time of year. We'll show you how it's impacting some East End owners. And
I just had to accept it. Like, what's another two? I was used to the chaos already, so.
A very happy and busy holiday. We'll introduce you to a Saskatchewan family that just welcomed their third set of twins. A huge jump in new COVID-19 cases tonight and setting another record in the process. The province reporting more than 9,500 new infections, eclipsing yesterday's total of just under 5,800. There are now 508 people in hospital with COVID-19. 355 are not fully vaccinated or have an unknown vaccination status. The province says ICU numbers are holding steady with 164 in intensive care tonight. Of those, 136 are not fully vaccinated or have an unknown vax status. There were also 6 more deaths reported. While Omicron cases are shooting up, so is the vaccination rate. More people are getting their booster shots, and we're seeing more of those mass immunization clinics from the spring and summer. Lisa Shing has more.
A long line outside a vaccination clinic in North Toronto today.
It feels safer to be out and about now with the third shot. It's just an extra insurance.
I'm doing the right thing as a good citizen, that's all.
The same at Mississauga's International Centre.
But I just wanted to make sure that I can get something faster.
Don't mind standing outside. It's worth it, yes.
It's where Premier Doug Ford was today, visiting health workers and touting an increase in vaccinations.
We're able to ramp up and do 19,000 doses a day.
The numbers are going up in Toronto and across the province, with more than 90% of Ontarians 12 and over receiving at least one dose, and more than 87% getting a second dose, and 40% of children aged 5 to 11 have received their first dose. But as Omicron numbers shoot up, there are long waits for PCR tests. People have been heading to the University Health Network's emergency department to get tested. That results in lineups.
It certainly causes a strain on our staff. We're having difficulties being able to take patients off of EMS stretchers when they're coming in because we don't have a place to put them.
And it poses a risk to immunocompromised patients.
We have patients who are immunocompromised either because they have had an organ transplant or because they're on chemotherapeutics for their cancer. And being in the waiting room with patients who are COVID positive, because many of them are, with symptoms, they are COVID positive, and it's putting them at risk for also getting COVID. So this is what we're most worried about.
UHN hospitals are urging anyone without severe symptoms to book an appointment at a COVID assessment center. They're also seeing an uptick in staff sick calls because of Omicron, but what effect that will have on the system will be more clear in the new year. Lisa Shing, CBC News, Toronto.
For many small business owners, the holidays are the busiest time of year. It can represent a huge chunk of their annual income, but for a second straight year, pandemic restrictions are taking a bite out of profits. Greg Ross caught up with some small business owners in the beaches today.
Business wasn't exactly booming at Pro League Sports over the holidays, but owner Tex Thomas says he's not complaining.
This holiday season compared to last is basically night and day.
The big difference?
Last year, we weren't allowed anyone in the store.
Even with government-imposed capacity limits in place this year, Thomas says he's been able to keep business moving.
This Christmas, with customers able to come into the store, we can limit it how many people come in. It's actually been really, really good. We're probably 60, 70% based on pre-pandemic to now.
Thomas says a lot of his business is coming from the beaches community, making a concerted effort to support local shops.
I did make a particular effort to come to Queen Street instead of out to the plaza out in the burbs somewhere. It just seems like we know January is going to be really hard on these guys.
While some business owners are getting by with the current capacity limits in place, there are many others who are struggling.
50% may as well be zero.
Carl Pratt owns the Beaches Brewing Company. He says when the province put restrictions in place, his customers started to disappear.
You could collectively feel the street sort of like tighten up and constrict, and people just stopped coming in altogether. Reservations and parties got canceled. We were planning on having a New Year's thing. That got canceled.
As a result, many in the restaurant industry may be forced to ponder the future of their business rather than enjoying the holidays.
Hard to establish any sort of business model that's going to last.
Greg Ross, CBC News, Toronto.
Mississauga Mayor Bonnie Crombie says she has contracted COVID-19. In a statement today, the mayor says she is following all public health guidelines and will continue to isolate at home. She says, I remain in good spirits and thankfully at this time my symptoms are mild. She is encouraging all residents to get their first, second, and booster shots when eligible. Many families are pivoting their holiday plans this Christmas Eve. Indoor gatherings are permitted in the province, but Ontario's top doctors urging people to use vigilance and keep get-togethers small. A maximum of 10 people from different households are allowed, and people are being told to limit their contacts. Travel outside of regions is okay, but people are asked to avoid travel to areas with high or low case counts. Travel outside the country is being discouraged. Americans are also facing another holiday season of uncertainty. During a pandemic, many are being forced to change travel plans because of Omicron. And as Travis Danraj reports, a few U.S. airlines dealing with staffing shortages have now canceled hundreds of flights.
Hey now, Merry Christmas.
The bustle of holiday travel hasn't yet reached pre-pandemic levels, but millions are taking to the skies, and traveling during a pandemic can come with extra frustration.
All night and waiting, sit down, talk here to my friend Vincent.
Long lines, not for security, but for testing.
2 times already they take the fly. You lose the money because the companies don't want to give you the money back, and we need to pay now $250 if you want to fly again.
The Transportation and Security Administration estimates it will screen 30 million air passengers this season, up 184% from last year. Still, some are opting to stay put.
Definitely the past few days in particular, with the record highs, I'm a lot more hesitant about travel.
Over 400 Christmas Eve flights have been canceled on Delta, JetBlue, United, and other airlines, in part because of staffing shortages due to COVID exposure.
We won't be able to get home, but luckily we kept checking the flight status, got here, and everything was fine, so we were really grateful for that.
Earlier this week, President Biden announced a suite of new measures to battle the virus. Dr. Anthony Fauci, Biden's chief medical advisor, says in the long term, Omicron overtaking Delta could be good news.
We could wind up with a virus that's pervasive, that does not cause severity, and that people will get enough immune response to, that you would then wind up having a lesser degree of morbidity and mortality.
And while that may be the case, the best protection against COVID-19 remains vaccines. The majority of deaths and those with severe illness in hospital right now are the unvaccinated. Travis Danraj, CBC News, Washington.
Toronto police have identified the victim of a shooting from last night as 21-year-old Jamie Hagley of Toronto. Police responded to a call for a shooting in the area of Grand Ravine Drive and Driftwood Avenue around 9:30 last night. Hagley was located outside of a townhouse unit. He was pronounced dead on the scene. Investigators would like to speak with anyone who may have dash cam or video surveillance of the area. An organization that offers transitional housing for refugees is looking for some volunteers to host.
The idea of giving a little help to people who have had their lives uprooted is, we feel is important. They've had so much taken away, and we've been fortunate to have been given so much.
Romero House can house up to 10 families in 4 of its homes, but says the demand is far greater than that. It also relies on about 25 hosts for temporary housing, but now all of those spots are full too. At this point in the pandemic, with COVID-19 cases climbing, the need for physical distancing means many refugee shelters are full and the cities are nearing capacity too. If hosts are not comfortable opening their doors during the pandemic, they can also opt to cover the cost of a hotel room, giving Romero House more time to find accommodations. We tried all week. We did, Nick, hoping for a white Christmas, but what have you got for us, sir?
Couldn't do it. Well, if you were up late enough last night, you would have seen the snowfall. I know when I drove home last night, it actually looked a little blustery outside. However, all of that has melted and we're into some warm weather here. Weather headlines, we've got a few showers tonight, a very green Christmas in the forecast. It is cooling down, but not for a couple of days. It'll come right after Christmas. We've got some showers in southwestern Ontario and south central Ontario, just pushing up toward the Golden Horseshoe right now. We'll see a few light showers and or drizzle across the city as we head through the evening hours tonight. And then moving through the overnight period, a little bit more in the way of rainfall. I think the forecast model's overdoing that a little bit, but nevertheless, we'll see a few showers through the overnight, and then tomorrow morning things start to clear out. So likely to see some morning showers. I think through the mid-morning we're going to see those showers clear out. Then cloud cover for the day with the risk of an isolated brief shower. Just cloudy for the most part heading into Saturday night and Sunday. It looks like generally the cloud cover is going to stick around though into Sunday as well. By Sunday afternoon, a mix of sun and cloud, and temperatures begin to drop. In terms of how much rainfall we can expect with this, I mean about 5 to 10 millimeters or so. Most of the forecast models calling for about that. Not a big rainfall event. The other thing with this is most of it is going to fall through the overnight period. So tomorrow, if you've got plans to go outdoors, you know what, it's actually not going to be too bad. The winds shifting to the southwest, that's kind of that warmer push that we're talking about. And then Saturday later in the afternoon and then toward the evening, they start to shift to the west and the northwest. And that's when we drive down some of the cooler temperatures heading into Sunday. For tonight, not cool at all, actually very mild. We've got overnight lows of about 5 degrees. Now, mind you, the overnight low is actually going to happen closer to midnight, and then the temperature will rise through the overnight. So this is called a reverse temperature trend. We'll be looking at temperatures around 8, 9, 10 degrees. I think even downtown core likely to be a bit higher than 8 degrees. So very mild weather in the forecast for tomorrow. So this is what you can expect as we head into Christmas Day. We've got 8 degrees, some fog patches that'll dissipate, winds out of the west at 20 kilometers per hour. Showers, if you see any, will be through the morning and then they begin to clear out. In the long range, it cools down. Sunday, 2 degrees with a mix of sun and cloud. A few flurries on Monday, and then back up to 4 and rain by the time we hit Wednesday. I don't know what to tell you, Dwight.
You know, with 8 degrees,
I tried.
The folks that need to be outside for their events,
yes,
it's pretty good. We'll take
they're
the 8
probably going to
because of the pandemic, so it might work out after all. Happy holidays, Nick.
Yeah, you too, Dwight.
Toronto Public Health is asking people using drugs to do so safely at a safe consumption site after a rise in overdose calls this week. Paramedics attended more than 100 suspected overdoses on Wednesday and Thursday. 3 of those were fatal. Teal-colored fentanyl was involved in many of the calls. Public Health says these drugs require large doses of naloxone if someone does overdose. The city is suggesting people use the buddy system or visit one of the 9 safe consumption sites. Advocates for the Shelter and Housing Justice Network are once again calling for rapid tests and N95 masks for Toronto shelters. The group wants city officials to make rapid testing widely available to individuals who are homeless. They're also calling for accelerated vaccine rollout at shelters and increased capacity at hotel shelter spaces. An organization based right here in the province is helping seniors get their vaccines right across the country. Pink Cars Canada was formed as the immunization campaign began, and it hasn't stopped. Now, volunteers are driving vulnerable members of the population out to their booster appointments.
I was worried it was going to be really cold.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome, love.
We're going to get my booster shot because I'm turning 83. I shall be very relieved when I've had it.
Be careful.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. We will be here and continue to help all seniors, anybody 65 and over, until COVID disappears.
Did you get the flu shot as well?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Shanta Sundaresan, and I'm the founder of Pink Cars Canada. Pink Cars was started about 24 hours before the onslaught of the first vaccine back in March, because we had a few requests from a couple of seniors for some help to book their vaccine appointments and also to help get them to and from their appointments. And when we launched it on the first day of the vaccine rollout, we were inundated with thousands of requests within hours. All right, love. Okay. Yep. We thought that it would be a little bit quieter, but what we found is a lot of the seniors have actually been staying at home and just been waiting anxiously for the booster shots to come along. Some of them are really desperate because they keep calling and asking, when their time is. And I keep calculating it's 168 days since the second shot that they can get their booster.
Okay. I mean, I don't want to wind up with COVID, so I wear a mask normally, and I look forward to getting as immunized as possible.
It's done. It's over.
We've had people that we've helped now twice over, and they just call, and they're just such beautiful individuals, the seniors. They're so grateful, and so it's good busy.
Pandemic is making it tough for families during the holidays, but for those staying at Ronald McDonald House, they are grateful to be close to their family. A 1-year-old boy named Josiah from New Brunswick is currently in Toronto waiting for a heart transplant.
The special things they do around the holidays, every big holiday like Easter, Thanksgiving, Christmas, they have a full home cooked meal. They have home cooked meals 3 nights a week, but just the big turkey dinner and not having that worry on our hands, and then having Santa show up and having cookies for Santa and the whole experience. I mean, it's just like home, but without the worry, because we don't have to plan any of it. It's all done for us.
The 15 Ronald McDonald houses in Canada help 25,000 families annually get the care they need. Many Canadians will be marking Christmas with just their immediate household, but it's likely more than enough for one Regina family as they're welcoming baby twins home for the holidays. And as Bonnie Allen tells us, it's not the first set or even the second.
At 5 years old, Alice MacArthur takes her job of big sister pretty seriously. She's had plenty of practice, too. Her mom has had 3 sets of twins in 4 years.
It's okay. Come on.
Patrina MacArthur and her husband figured they were done having babies after Alice and her brother were born a couple of years apart.
I thought I was good with just the 2, but my first set of twins pretty much shocked me because I didn't know I was able to have twins.
In November 2017, she had twin girls, Halen and Hannah. Then in 2019, another set of twins, Kai and Kitty. And then this year, that's right, a third set.
These 2 in the crib are Felix and Francine.
And this little guy, well, he's having a bit of trouble adjusting to sharing his mom, she says. As for her, she just rolls with it.
I just had to accept it. Like, what's another 2? I was used to the chaos already, so.
So definitely unusual, and I feel tired for her, so.
Obstetrician Dr. Stephanie Cooper says the overall rate of twins in Canada is about 1 in 90, but that includes using fertility drugs. It's even more rare to have 3 sets of fraternal twins in 4 years without fertility treatments.
If you are somebody who just tends to ovulate more than 1 egg per cycle, then that would make you more likely to have twins in a subsequent pregnancy.
Born prematurely, Felix and Francine are settling in at home after a couple of weeks in the neonatal unit.
I really don't get time for myself.
MacArthur has her hands full with 8 children, but she's happy, accepting that sometimes when life throws you a few curveballs, you get a whole baseball team. Bonnie Allen, CBC News, Meadow Lake, Saskatchewan.
Finally tonight it is Christmas Eve and Santa Claus has already hit the skies. Let's take a look. NORAD's annual Santa tracker is up and running. Santa first left the North Pole and dropped off gifts for kids in the South Pacific early this morning. Right now, his journey has him flying over Liberia. He's expected to make his first Canadian deliveries at 9 p.m. in Nunavut. NORAD says more than 3 billion presents have already made their way down the chimney. That is us. That is it for us tonight. We're going to keep tracking Santa for you. Thank you for joining us. Have a great night and, of course, a safe holiday from all of us here at CBC Toronto.